do, do. Manny, hear me sing. Here's the thing, don't get back in the ring. Manny, I know you did before, and it opened up a door, but I'll bet you were sore. Yeah, I'll bet he was. I'll bet he was sore. When he fought Alpo, he didn't look that good. In fact, someone said, my word, Pacquiao looks about 100. They did say that. And by the way, I've had a bit of a trim. Seen this? Look at that. Looks much better. Looks like I've got more hair when it's cut. Isn't that strange? Looks like I've got more hair when it's cut a bit shorter. Strange, isn't it? And I've got a bit of a Colonel Sanders going on here. Yes, but I like it. It's more of a laughing cavalier. Now, back to Pacquiao, which when I watched him fight made me go, oh, I didn't go, oh, I went, oh. He didn't look good. It didn't look like he was really having a good time in there. He looked like he was struggling to get any rhythm or to get, to cut the distance with his larger opponent, and he's thinking of fighting again. Now, who, ladies and gentlemen, could he be thinking of fighting? Come on. I'll give you 5 minutes. It's just us here. Let's just have a chat. Come here. Ryan Garcia. Hello, everyone. It's me, Ryan Garcia. No, I mean, not me, obviously. I'm not Ryan Garcia. No. But Ryan Garcia, by the way, has said he thinks he's had a really good year. Right? Well, you beat someone after not making weight, so you couldn't fight for the belts. You then failed a drug test. You failed both A and B samples for Osterine. You were banned for 2 years. You had that result expunged. You said some extraordinary things which lead people to have concerns about your health. You've decided to go to Rising to fight there because you really can't go into the UFC or any other MMA organisation because they've got the same governing body as the ones who just sacked you. On what level are we talking about having a good year? I mean, if you're talking about just having a brand and not really bothering about boxing, then I think you might say you have had a good year. My brand has never been in the public consciousness more than it is now. No, but that's not necessarily a good thing. You know, people say all publicity is good publicity. Not necessarily. For instance, you know, if you had publicity that was around a court case, for instance, a high-profile court case, that might not be good publicity. I mean, that's not the court case with Ryan Garcia. That's not the situation, but, I mean, he has been arrested recently. Anyway, he thinks he's had a good year. And he is thinking of, well, he said he wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao has said, well, maybe I will. I don't see the point. They are very far apart in ages. Pacquiao didn't look good fighting Alpo, who is, I mean, you know, it's not as if he's saying, well, you know, I'm not surprised he didn't do well against Alpo. Nobody ever does. I mean, I know it's that, and we are talking about the boxing of boxing. I didn't do the business of boxing. We had some technical issues, and I mentioned this in the business of boxing, which I'm sorry you couldn't see, because it was the best thing I'd ever done. I just thought they'll never allow me to show this, and they're going to show it. It's brilliant. And then we had technical difficulties. So I'm sorry you couldn't see it, but this might be even better. Chances are it won't. You get one chance to be supreme, don't you? And that was last week. Not really, but we couldn't show it because of technical difficulties. Yeah, that is the case. That is the case. So I'm doing a little bit of the stuff that I would do in there. I'm giving you a double whammy. And you know what? I'll be tired out after this. I might have to go for a nice bath. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit. Oh, I'm moving about a bit, aren't I? Whoa! I've got a bit woozy myself there, like I had some kind of aeroplane spin. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit of what I would have done then, a little bit of the big stories last week, and I'm also going to talk about a fight this week. So I've got some notes down here. I want to make sure I get everything that I don't want to forget anything. I want to tell you exactly what I think of this supreme fight. Now, you know how I say in the boxing of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, that's what this is. Do the business of boxing and the boxing of boxing. Yeah. This is the boxing of boxing. And sometimes the best thing about the boxing of boxing is when one boxer sets another a puzzle and that boxer struggles to overcome it. Now, that was the case here. Do you know, I'm very glad to have got this curl back because it wasn't curling very well when it was a bit longer. A bit of volume taken out of it. What do we think? Do let me know. Bit of curl there, and I haven't even put any tash wax in there. Tash wax. I haven't put any of it in there yet. It's still waxy. I do need to comb the beard because it needs to come down to a point. And laughing carefully. Oh, yes. Anyway, the match or the fight or the tussle I am going to tell you about, actually it was a fight, is Virgil Ortiz Jr. Now, well, let me tell you who he fought first. It's the champion. This is for the WBC interim featherweight. No, super featherweight, wasn't it? No, super welterweight. Get it right, Steve. Belt. So the WBC interim super welterweight belt. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And it's round the waist of Sergey Bohachuk. He's a Ukrainian fighter and well known as being resilient. And that's part of the business of boxing. Plus the boxing of boxing, they both segue into each other because you've got Virgil Ortiz Jr. wanting to smack people out of there. And he's well known for beating people, not beating people up. He's well known for, in the boxing ring, he's well known for getting people out of there, knocking them out. It was thought he wouldn't be able to do that with Sergey Bohachuk. So that's your first thing, isn't it? Can we do that? Can we actually change our game plan to be more patient, to take it a bit easier, to take it to the 12th round? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may use that phrase, and indeed I have, it did go to the 12th round. And we knew that this fight on DAZN, I have a subscription, I still like it, just about, but well done for fights like this, It was thought that it would be an attritional fight. It was thought that it would be a big punching fight. Oh, it blooming well was. Now, Ortiz did some early work to the body, and there were hooks and uppercuts with Ortiz pushing back. There was an overhand right from Ortiz, which affected Bohachuk. But then there was a shot from the champ, and Ortiz touched down. Now, it was ruled a slip. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this first round, it was a slip, okay? Foreshadowing. Okay, it was a slip. A slip, ladies and gentlemen, right? Not a knockdown. Okay, so we're in the second round. Bohachuk is thinking, well, I see what you can do now, mate. I think I'm all right with that. Fights back. And what they do is they stand in front of each other. There is no, on the bike, there is no real movement. There's head movement, but there is no real movement. Certainly, I mean, Bohachuk was just coming forward here. They called him a cyborg later on. Of course they did. That's wrestling parlance, boxing parlance, isn't it? And wrestling as well. And Terminator parlance. But, so Bohachuk decided to fight back. It was close. It was phone box stuff. At one point, they were just resting their heads on each other's chest, more or less, and wailing away. You've got Ortiz with his lead hand held really low and using the jab, moving about, but got to be careful with that because Bohachuk doesn't appear to be someone you can just fire out of there. Ortiz did stay out of range. His movement was better than Bohachuk's. Fires the shots in, tried to pressure Bohachuk with that movement. They traded so many punches. Bohachuk just stayed patient. He took shots. He didn't seem to be concerned. He wasn't thinking, I'm being overwhelmed here. He just thought, I'll fight through this. And perhaps his corner thought, well, you know what? Take him into the deep water. Ortiz has not really been there, so he might tire out. Okay, keep that in mind. Boachuk worked the body in that fourth. It was smooth. It was glorious to watch. It was graceful. It was wonderful boxing technique. It was so smooth, so sinuous, so fluid. I love that. Boachuk, even when he was on the ropes, fought back. His shots were getting through in that fourth round. And although the crowd were oohing and ahhing at a late Virgil Ortiz overhand right, it hit the shoulder. So it wasn't as if he was getting through too much. So on to the sixth. Oh, no, hang on a minute. Remember when I said there was a slip in the first round? Harvey Dock then told us, great ref, he told us that they looked at the slow-mo again and it was actually a knockdown. They announced this between the fourth and the fifth rounds. That's like VAR in football or soccer if you're across the pond. It was a bit ridiculous, but as his corner said later, as Virgil Ortiz's corner said, well, it is what it is. We've got to work with it. Absolutely. It's no good crying about it or complaining, but it was done after the fact. It must have been a bit of a heartbreaker for them because actually the fight is really close. There was a big Boachuk uppercut, big overhand right at the end of that fifth round. And then Virgil Ortiz smoothly cut the gap, got some combos in that sixth. But then a big Boachuk right, overhand right, really found its place. Oh, by the way, Turkey Ali Sheik would like Crawford and Virgil Ortiz next. So Virgil Ortiz, in the business of boxing, has got to do well here. He's got to get him out of there. He's got to look really good doing it. He hasn't so far, folks. He's looked like Boachuk, who looks to be a busy fighter, a durable fighter, a difficult to work with fighter. He's kind of bamboozling him a little bit. He can't find the way to break through. And we're in the seventh now. Ortiz hit him with a nice hook. Boachuk came back with some body work. This was phone box stuff again, folks. Close to each other. For a boxing fan, gotta love that. Really technical, but really attritional as well. In the eighth, there was a left hook from Boachuk, and it shook Ortiz to his very toenails. He touched down immediately. Didn't fall down, but he put both of his gloves, both of his fists down and touched down immediately. Shook his head as if to say to Harvey Dock, no, that's not a knockdown either. That's a slip. It was definitely a knockdown, and it was ruled a knockdown. But then Ortiz got back to work. He tried really hard to get back into that round. And a late right, a right late in the round really hurt him. He got some big, really hurt Boachuk, the champ. Got some fast combos in the 10th. Finally seemed to be getting a rhythm. Big jabs, sleeker shots, and not loading up on his shots because he thought, I'll get him out of there. I'll just get him out of there. He was told not to load up, and it took him until probably the 9th or 10th to realise that. Well, the 10th, really, to realise that. He needs to be more patient. He needs to have a different mindset, because when you've not done this before or experienced it, and it was thought the Boachuk would be his toughest test, and that was the case. So in the 11th, Ortiz was busy at it. It was almost as if he knew it was tight. His corner was saying, we need these last rounds. He'll never have heard that before, will he? Not in his rise to the championship or to a championship. So he was busier, flashier to get the judges. Big left hook. Boachuk covered up from that. Didn't look very happy. but then came back with an overhand right. Rather than saying, I think I'd better be careful here, thought I'll fight back. I'll fight back. Got 2 shots in. They engaged so well. Massive left from Virgil Ortiz. That 11th round was one of the best I have seen in recent months, maybe even a year. And you know, the 12th was a bit of a dodgy round because in the middle of it they had to break because Ortiz needed his glove taped. Some tape had escaped and got loose. And they managed to catch it, bring it back, and it was taped up. Not really, of course, but he was still hitting Boachuk with shots. However, the judges didn't see it like that. It was 13-13, and then 113-113, should I say, and then 114-112 twice. That was close. That was about as close as you can get it, wasn't it? Well, no, you could have a majority draw, couldn't you? But that was really close. Great match, great fight. It's what you want to see. And it makes me think, well, that's why I like boxing. Because one sets a conundrum, the other doesn't really solve it, but works towards solving it, so it's okay. Now, just a few items of news for you. Yeah, Canelo's been stripped of his IBF title because he won't fight Skull. It's been thought, and I love these boxing analysts, I love them, that because he's not fighting David Benavidez and fighting Edgar Berlanga, he might lose a few pay-per-view buys. Really? You do surprise me. That's like saying, well, I plan to have a sumptuous meal, I plan to have a 5-course meal, and you get there and they say, well, we're not doing a 5-course meal tonight. What we're doing for the same money is a slice of toast and some water. Is that okay for you? No, not really. I think I'll go elsewhere. What do you mean? So he will be stripped of, he has been stripped of that fight and of that belt, and the IBF have got another fighter. Got 2 more fighters. They've got Skull and Shishkin. And even though we don't think they are marquee bothering fighters, it's very brave of them to do that because, you know, folks, there's money at stake here, isn't there? And Canelo Alvarez, the water-based fighter, Canelo Alvarez, brings a lot of money with him, doesn't he? So it's really brave of them to do this. So I'll have none of this poo-poo, of, well, you know, maybe they should have stayed with Canelo. What do they think they're playing at? They're playing at boxing. They're playing at the validity of boxing. In fact, they're not playing at it, and that's great. Finally, before I go, the circus that is Jake Paul. Now we know that he's not fighting Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson, we now find, has an ulcer. How that didn't come about when he got his license, I don't know. Let's have a look at the head. We'll have a look at the legs. Oh, leave the midriff, leave the thorax. We won't bother with that. It's fine. Don't bother with the heart or anything. No, it's fine. And who has said he will step up now? Loads of people have said they will. I'll tell you who said they'd step up. Eric Esch, Butterbean. Now, I like Butterbean, but, I mean, it's a few years ago that he was doing his stuff, and you want somebody current, don't you? But it does seem like anybody can put their hat in the ring. I mean, maybe even Trump. Maybe even Donald Trump will put his hat in the ring. I'll fight him. No problem. Best fighter in the world. Nobody's a better fighter than me. I've always been the best fighter. Great fighter. I'll fight Jake Paul. You might as well. That'd put bums on seats, wouldn't it? Hey, Jake. You heard it here first. Ta-ta.
RockSolidFanClub.ca gives you full access to Canada's leader in professional wrestling, featuring legends like Mick Foley, modern megastars such as Cody Deaner, and future sensations like Tyler Turva. RockSolidFanClub.ca offers exclusive series, podcasts, live streams, specials, and full events, all for less than $9 a month. Sign up today at RockSolidFanClub.ca, where real fans get it.